We gotta talk Hbar and XRP as the news is heating up. We're talking about regs being pushed, big reports, Bitcoin and
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
And yes, some people are still dumb AF. But before we get into the crypto news, like regs coming, being pushed to the old Congress, your comments come first. Hot, spicy, naughty, relevant. Maybe I'll share it beginning in the next video. Jeremy Touche dropping support on the channel. Thank you, kind sir. Says, how many subscribers are we at? Cost 42.5. Thanks, Jeremy. Like, subscribe, and share, people. By the way, I don't like the idea of getting rid of gold. What if we were ever hit with an EMP, then rendering, digital assets and the whole digital infrastructure useless? I'm not a big fan of selling gold either. I would rather see the United States find savings, then take that savings and use some of that to buy for strategic reserves. Andrew Butcher dropping support on the channel from up north. Well, thank you, friend from Canada. Says, cheers, Klaus, you're the man. Andrew, actually, you are the man, kind sir. As you are supporting the channel, I greatly appreciate it. Now, let's give someone a little bit of rubbage of the face in the poo-poo. Are you ready? Because some people are still dumb AF. Buyform says, the United States did not sell for gold for BTC. Please stop the lies. No shit, you dumbass. That's one of the plans that was proposed. I broke that news to you over the weekend. I said one of the biggest things right now coming out of the news is the proposal to be budget neutral, to sell gold profits for what everyone for strategic reserve crypto. I didn't say it happened. I said that's the biggest thing proposed. Maybe some people should pull their heads out of their asses and use the 2 ears that they have and start listening. Bitch, better have my money. Happy motherfucking Monday. Bitcoin sitting at 88,075. A little bit of energy being pumped into the market. Wait till you hear what we got in terms of regs coming up. ETH 2085, SOL 142, XRP at 247. We're going to talk XRP along with Hbar. Now check this out. Watch what happens. See how I have to scroll down just a little bit right here? Do you guys see Hbar anywhere? It's this little box right here because the volume's small. 19.2 cents. We're going to talk Hbar along with Pi, Pump and Dump. Well, girlfriend, you're deep in the red at 94 cents. Gold for Bitcoin. Is the U.S. on the verge of the greatest financial mistake ever? Based on your comments, even though the majority of us out there are huge into crypto, we all think that would be a dumb idea for the United States. I said idea, Fat Lives Matters, not that's happening. Sharing with you the news as it happens. Listen. All right, 5 big events happening this week that you need to be aware of. I'm going to tell you if they're important or if they're not. You ready? Services and manufacturing PMI indices. Don't give a shit about that. Consumer confidence. Yes, I do care about that. Because think, we're the consumer. Retail pumps and pushes crypto. So if the consumer isn't confident and inflation is really high and we're spending a lot of money, well, that definitely affects retail, doesn't it? Jobless claims, not too worried about that yet because I still believe that jobs are being okay. They're not in like a danger zone. GDP, yes, we'll have to pay attention to that because if GDP slows down, that puts pressure on the Fed to lower rates so that we could see more growth. PCE index, yeah, I think that's going to have some weight as well. Oh, by the way, this is all linked where everyone in the description below. BTC, ETFs in the green again, but ETH is still bleeding funds. And ETH has been a massive laggard in this move. It just now broke over 2,000. But for real, we've seen BTC touch all-time highs. ETH nowhere even freaking close, girlfriend. The crypto market witnessed a trend reversal during the past week, especially within the United States. This reversal extended to BTC, but did not extend to ETH. According to data from CoinGlass, BTC ETFs recorded inflows, while Ethereum ETFs continue to see outflows. So some things are hot, some things are not. In contrast to Ethereum ETF outflows, ETH's value has risen by 10%. Wow. To 2,000. That's nothing. Come on, ETH at 2,000, what a laggard. BTC, on the other hand, is at 88,000. So, ETFs, institutional players, what are you seeing? They're getting back into things. There was a big sell-off around March 10th. What else do I got for you? Systemic bank run risk hangs over stablecoin bills in Congress. Oh. Now I'm bringing this up because the next story I have is a juicy one. It's about regs, but listen to some of the fears. And actually, just listen to who did this quote. You ready? The bill lacks basic safeguards necessary to ensure that stablecoins don't blow up our entire financial system. This coming from Senator Warren. Under this bill, stablecoin issuers can invest risky assets, including the very assets that were bailed out in 2008. Anyone who thinks the U.S. taxpayer won't be called on directly or indirectly to bail out these guys is kidding themselves. Lady, look, we get that you don't like anything tied to crypto. But crypto can work if we do put the proper safeguards in play, if we do get updated regs, and if we do get more protection for the investors out there. So Warren, stop trying to get in the way with negatives. Instead, give us positives and let's start working toward those. But I don't know if Pocahontas is capable of doing that. Now, Eleanor Tourette, you gotta follow this girl. If you want hot crypto news, you want hot Ripple XRP news, Eleanor Tourette's the one to follow. I'll have her information linked down below. Now, real quick, the SEC Ripple appeal is still going on. The SEC dropped their side. Ripple is still continuing their cross appeal, trying to make sure that they hammer the SEC into the ground so that they never do it again. So for those of you out there in the comments that are like, bro, the case is over. The case is over from the SEC side, but Ripple still wants to make sure that the SEC doesn't do it again. You know what it's like? This is just like in those zombie movies, okay? You know how like you shoot a zombie and it falls down, right? The SEC is that zombie. Ripple right now is continuing its appeal. And basically what Ripple is doing is walking up to the zombies, putting in a new extended mag, right? Maybe capacity of 27, and unloading all 27 into the zombie to make sure it stays down. That's what Ripple is doing by continuing the appeal. But let's get back to the news. New from me, that's Eleanor Tourette. The White House pushes to get stablecoin ledged to the Senate floor next month. That's important. We're going to be watching that. And as that happens, I'm going to be sharing it with you. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. Might even have a few live streams regarding that. Because as soon as stablecoin regs get finished, they're going to move on to the rest of the crypto market. And that's what we really care about. What else is happening? Crypto policy takes center stage at Wednesday's Digital Chamber Blockchain Summit. So we're going to be paying attention to that. Along with what, everyone? Along with, yes, SEC had confirmation hearing on the 27th. We got a big week coming up. Now, will this big week bring in juicy volatility? It's possible. Are we starting to see some things kind of come back up price-wise? Yes, we are. In fact, let's jump into it. Hbar, right? We talked about that earlier. Hbar right now up a little bit. For the year, not the best, down 28%. XRP for the year up 19%. So there's some definite differences. Hbar right now, volume-wise, at 218 million, up 38%. This most recent move here looks good, but again, it's just not like juicy, right? This is the 1 month chart. Check this out. We were as high as 27, 28 cents on that, and now we're under 20. So there's definitely opportunities there if you believe in the long-term prospects of Hbar. The problem I have, though, is when you zoom out to the 1 year, okay? You see the pump and you see the hopium from the presidential election results, right? You see a couple runs up here, one of the big ones happening in mid-January. And since that mid-January run, Hbar has gone from the high 30s to sub 20. That's a big dip right there, everyone. The volume overall is okay. It's not super juicy great. It's not bad. It's okay. But I got to be honest with you. Something's going to need to come out of Hedera, and those regs better come fast, and those ETFs better come fast for Hbar, because what you're seeing is a declining interest, and that's reflective of the price right now. I'm bringing this up because I know we got a lot of Hbar fans, and I know we got a lot of utility fans out there, but what are we seeing? The interest peak in mid-January, followed by what? A couple pumperonis, dumperonis, and now some meh action. The 1 month chart tells us that over the last couple weeks, Hbar, look at the March 10th date, okay, has essentially gone sideways. Look at that. Since March 10th, okay? Now watch this. Watch the XRP chart when I go to the 1 month. March 10th was the near-term low. XRP has rallied from that sub $2 low to now right around 247. So a very different story between the two. By the way, XRP's volume up 63% right now to 3.16 billion. The Korean won XRP pairing from Upbit is paying a premium, a small one at 249. In previous weeks and months, we've seen this Upbit pair pay a much bigger premium than they are now. Right now, market average 247, 248. They're only paying about a penny and a half more. We used to see that split as much as 15 cents. Now, in terms of XRP, look, I already brought it up earlier with the case. Yes, the appeal is still going on. The SEC dropped theirs, but Ripple is like, no, we're not dropping ours because we want to unload our 27 into you. Yeah, my piece that I got right over there, homegirl holds 27. It's a 9 though, okay? It's a 9. Just be nice to me. So XRP moving on the way up, moving up from the March 10th lows. Let's zoom into those candlesticks and see what's going on here. We're going to go to the 15-minute and see this. Oh, okay. Brad Garlinghouse announcement, right? SEC case over. We erased almost all the gains and then popped our way back on up. This move right here, strategic reserve announcement, much bigger. What's weird though is we haven't heard anything else in regards to strategic reserve specifically for XRP. The only thing we've heard is how they're going to fund it. And remember, they want to stay budget neutral, which means they're either going to take existing assets and sell it, they're going to find savings and convert that into BTC, or they're going to take some of their paper profits out there and roll it into that. That being said, these are ideas, all right? So listen closely, certain people in the comments that are keyboard warriors that think you're always right. Buy form. No, the U.S. did not sell gold for BTC. No, I did not say the U.S. did that. I said that was a proposed idea. Again, removal of head from the buttocks, open ears, you should be good to go. But in terms of XRP, I'm happy to see us moving up from this. I'm happy to see us moving up from the March 10th lows. 250 XRP starts getting exciting. But the market really starts opening up when we get to that 260, 270 mark. The volume that we saw in the strategic reserve news was big, and the volume that we saw from Brad Garlinghouse was big as well, but it didn't lead to as much price action. So, strategic reserve news can give us an oomph. ETF news can give us an oomph. Regs can definitely give us an oomph. And let's see what happens if we get some more news on the strategic reserve, because I got to be honest with you. Ever since the initial tweet that we saw on the March 2nd date, we haven't seen jack in terms of XRP specifically. And don't forget about ETH SOLANA, right? Yeah, as of now, it's just been BTC strategic reserve talk from the WH. That's White House for all you cool cats in the listening audience. All right, so we got a big week coming up with plenty of big news events that can move the prices. Now, there are some financial reports coming out that I'm not putting much weight into. Honestly, jobless claims don't really give a shit. PCE, GDP, yeah, I'm going to definitely be paying more attention to that because we can see the Fed pull some data from that in order to start looking at rates. Now, in terms of regs, hey, look, stablecoins, they're getting regulated first. And if we see that hit the Senate floor in April, we then get to see what the pain points are, right? What do the detractors have to say? Because think about this. If people are having a problem with stables, they're definitely going to have a problem with the rest of the crypto market, right? So we got to see, what are these players also not into? What's bugging them about it? And how long does it take? So if it hits the floor in April, are they able to get this through in a couple weeks? Does it take a month? Are there several revisions that need to be made? And then we got to start looking at strategic reserve news. Ever since the Trump announcement, it's been a lot of talk. And a lot of us out here are like, oh, come on, why is this taking so long? Just knock this out. Let's get this done. And I'm with you on that because it's been a lot of over-promising and under-delivering, and it's also been a lot of slow progress. But stables are going to get done first. We're going to see how they navigate those waters. We're going to see who's for it, who's against it, and that's going to let us know what to be ready for when it comes to regulating the rest of the crypto market. You're going to have CPI data coming in a few weeks, and we got a bunch of indicators out there that are going to help us with the Fed, which is going to determine the fund rate, which determines how much VC wants to get back into crypto. Because remember, VC's got a lot of money. VC also went big into AI. We saw how that boom played out. As money comes down in terms of rates, that risk can be taken by those VCs, and then they can build on your favorite chains. Yeah, so instead of us just being speculative going, I bought Hbar at 6 cents. I sold it at 38. No, instead we could talk about, oh, Hbar is being used for X, Y, and Z. And in fact, 800,000 people are using it. Like, you see what I'm saying? That's what we're waiting for. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. And what, everyone? Well, you know the deal. Hold on, let me fix my camera. Let me rotate it a little bit right here. Because how do we do the end of the videos? Choo-choo what? Hold on. Oh, I didn't plug it in. I'll leave it anyways. It's up at the top of the screen. Choo-choo bitches.